everybody, it's good to be with you again. And the weather right now is very, very hot. And when you get this, I hope that you're staying cool. Okay, but it's good to be with you again. And I want to have some more fun today with you. Okay, so today we're going to do what I call flip and paste. And it's nothing that I invented. It came from another source. And I'll show you a couple quick examples and then we'll go through this, okay? The first thing you can see is this flip and paste. I have a small rectangular piece of paper that you're going to get along with a larger piece of construction paper. We're going to cut this out in various shapes and we flip it over. And I'll show you how this is done. But these can be quite exciting. And all you're going to do is cut and paste, cut and paste. So let me take a step back. So the materials we're using today are construction paper, 2 pieces, your 9 by 12, and a 3.5 inch by a 6 inch piece of paper. And we're gonna have glue, one of our favorite things, and of course scissors, yay, scissors. And you know, I like these little scissors. They might, to some people, they might seem like they're a little bit childish, but you can get in there into small spaces, and I really enjoy that. I have a pencil here, but I'm not going to use the pencil, okay? I'm going to be brave. So, let's get started. I'm going to put this aside over here so it's not distracting to you. So that was one of the flip and paste, this red and green. Another one was this one. And for some reason, I think these patterned areas are a little bit distracting, but that's just me. Maybe I'll get over it, okay? So why don't we get started? And also, let me point out that the shapes are shapes that we're all familiar with. They're triangles, they're kind of zigzaggy shapes, they're half circles, they're pyramid or triangle shapes, and some shapes have kind of jagged edges. So, again, very simple shapes. Okay, so let's get started here. What I want to do first is I'm going to take my smaller piece of paper and I'm going to center it just what we say eyeballing it. You don't have to measure. I'm just going to center it on my, what we could say the ground paper, which is the paper that's going to get everything glued onto it, and I'm going to lightly mark my corners with my pencil. And the reason I'm doing that is because when I flip and paste, if I cut something out from the corners, I want to be able to maintain that corner when I am working on my design. Okay, and this is actually very fun. So, what am I going to cut first? Big dilemma. Big dilemma. Okay, I'm going to copy off of this one, and I'm going to cut some triangles. And it's okay to fold your paper, crease it lightly, and I'm going to cut a triangle shape in there. Oh, I almost made a mistake. I was starting to cut on the fold. I want to cut on the edges. Okay, I want to cut on the edges. So I'm going to cut into the edges. I'm going to cut triangle shapes. And I'm going to lay this back down just to make sure that I'm doing what I want to be doing. And the triangles that I cut out, you can see that it's the way it's pointed. I'm just going to flip it over. That's all you have to do, is just flip it over. That's why it's called flip and paste, okay? Okie dokie. I need some longer nails here, I think. Okay, so that's the start. Now where else shall I go? Another decision. Okay, I think I'm gonna go, let me make this easy on myself right now. And I'm gonna cut into the edges again. I'm gonna cut a half circle. Oh, I think I just got excited. excited. Oh, I'm gonna make that a little bit zigzag. Let's see what happens. This should be interesting. Okay. Okay, oh, I like that. I hope you like it too. Okay, so I cut my half circles again. You can see where they come from. And I'm gonna take them and flip them over and flip them over, this one on this side. And also you could see that these are, again, very simple shapes, but because of the way I'm cutting and the flipping, it begins to change this simple rectangle that I started with into a very different design. Okay? You wouldn't, sometimes people wouldn't think, oh, that's not possible, but it is possible. And that's one of the wonderful things about art. There are many things that are possible, unlimited possibilities. Okay, so I have these shapes, and I'm not gluing anything down right now. I'm going to wait until I get further along in this process. And as I'm talking to you, I'm deciding whether or not I want to use this patterned piece of paper or as origami paper. We'll see. Maybe I'll get brave enough and I will use it. But so far, I like the way it's coming along. I hope you like it too. Okay, now I'm going to work on the corners. When I say the corners, I mean these corners here. Let me see what I do with that. Okay. Folding it back again. Okay, let's see. I'm thinking about this because I want to make sure I fold it properly and I cut properly. So I want to make sure that this corresponds to this, that whatever I cut here will correspond to that corner. Okay, let's go for it. And there's really nothing mysterious about these shapes that I'm cutting. As I said, they are shapes that we see around us every day, all the time. Okay, so here's the shape here. I hope you can see that. And I'm gonna flip it over to the corner. Okay. Okay, let's see. Let me make a decision here. I'm gonna flip it here. It should go this way. This came out of this side, so I'm gonna flip it over so it'll end up on this corner. And this is why marking my corners in advance will help me with this. Okay, I hope you like what's happening right now. I certainly do. Okie dokie. Okay. I'm hesitating because I've decided whether or not to use this origami paper. And I think I'm gonna leave it out this time. But you should receive at least one piece of origami paper in your art packet, okay? So, whenever I'm gluing, I like to have a blank sheet of paper so I can glue on it. You'll see what I'm talking about in a second here. So, my construction paper. And what I do want to make sure of is that I'm putting glue on the correct side, okay? So I'm just gonna check it again and I'm gonna flip it over so I can glue. And taking my handy dandy glue here. And this is the type of glue that it turns colorless in a short period of time. But initially you can see where you're gluing, which is quite helpful. I want to make sure I have enough glue, but I don't have to have an excess amount of glue. Okay. Let's go back over here. And I'm going to line this up with the little corners that I marked on my construction paper in the beginning. So I make sure I have a good placement. Whoops. Whoops. There we go. So, success. Okay. And now I think I triangles that I cut out, and I'm gonna flip them over. I'm gonna make sure again that I put the glue on the proper side, otherwise I will be in a bit of trouble. Okay. Just, it came out of here, I'm flipping it over, and there we go. Okay. I like the way this red and purple look together. Some people might think it's kind of garish or too loud, but I like it. Okay, so I'm putting it in the spot, and it's gonna get glued this way, so I'm gonna apply my glue to the appropriate side. Okie dokie. And just pressing it down a little bit. I really like the way I decided to cut these corners here, or this kind of, what we call a kind of a step fret shape right here in this area here. I really like that. Okay, so I'm gonna apply the glue again to my correct side. And I hope you're having some fun with this art projects that the cafe has been supplying to you. And if you get so excited you want to do this on your own, remember these are very simple materials. Scissors, paper, glue. You could even, if you're so inclined, take magazines and you could do the same thing with magazines. And if you want to do it on a solid background, that would be wonderful. And the magazine has a pattern, that could make it very interesting. I think I've just given myself another idea that I might try with you. Okay, so I'm going to flip this other side and glue again. Yeah, I kind of like that idea. The only thing is that sometimes magazines are, the paper they're printed on are a little bit flimsy. Did I make a mistake? My goodness. My goodness, look what just happened. I put glue on the wrong side. Ay, ay, ay. So what am I gonna do? What I'm gonna do is put glue on the right side. And see, even though I have been doing this for many, many years, we all make mistakes. Oops, okay, there we go, there. And then I'm gonna put there, so I need glue on this side. Ay, ay, ay. So here's a good time to, what we say, a learning a lesson here, that regardless of how experienced I am, I can make mistakes too, okay? Is it earth-shattering? No, it's not earth-shattering. Is it gonna make me feel discouraged about doing any art in the future? No. Because that is also the job of the artist. If you make a mistake or you get caught in a corner while you're making art, that's the problem that you're gonna solve. And that's why artists are problem solvers also. We're thinkers and we're problem solvers. So, you can see that even though I made this mistake here, or error, whatever you want to call it, it's still working. It's working perfectly fine. Okay, now, since I'm aware that I'm liable to make a mistake, I'm going to flip this over and make sure I put the glue on the proper side. But it didn't ruin the composition that I have here. There have been many times when I've been working on a personal project and I will work myself into a corner. But again, I'm gonna solve that problem. That's the job. That's my job as an artist, to solve the problem. It's not just about maybe putting these pieces of paper down or working some paint onto a canvas or some other item I might be working on. I'm thinking all the time, how do I do this? How do I get this done? How can I make this successful? Okay, so I'm gonna put glue on that side. At least successful in my eyes, huh? Someone else might not like it, but that's okay. That's okay. We all have different preferences about what we like or don't like. Okie dokie, so this one is gonna go right here. There we go. That first project is done. And I avoided using the origami paper. I just didn't feel like I wanted to get into that. Now, I could have made this much more complicated, like this one is more complicated. But this gives you the general idea, or I hope a clear idea also of what you're going to be doing with this. Flip and paste, okay? Very, very straightforward. Thank you. I hope you have fun with this.